Hi, welcome to Booking Through Life. I'm Mary, and today I am going to confess that I am a bookaholic. This is my January haul. Okay, before we get started, first I want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to Janelle at Too Fond of Books. Her latest video that she did a shout out video to all the small booktubers out here in booktube land, and I was on her list, and so it has resulted in me bumping up in my subscribers, bumping up in being able to interact and comment with different people. Several of you commented on some of my videos, and I really enjoyed it, and that's been really fun. I've gotten some really good book recommendations for the Around the World in 80 Days reading challenge. Anyway, so this today is my confession. First, before I confess, I will ask you how your goals are doing. Your goals for the year, your goals for January. I made a goal to buy less books because I felt like I had bought a lot of books last year, more book buying than I normally do. So I wanted to, like a lot of us are, I wanted to put a limit and say I needed to read so many books before I could buy a book. I had a list of caveats. If I'm in the middle of a series and I need the next book, I can buy that book. If it's for the Dickens along, I said I could buy myself a Dickens along book. Otherwise, I needed to read my shelf or go to the library. Well, I had an epic fail. So this is my confession. This is my January book haul. And and then I will reboot starting today. So here it is. Here's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So my book haul confession. So I started out January. I was going to limit my book buying, and early in the month I was going somewhere, doing something, and I had a little bit of extra time, so I thought, oh, I'll go into a thrift shop and just kind of look around. I won't buy, I'll just look around. I wasn't really thinking about my goal at all. I just was like, just kind of thinking I didn't need to buy a book. So what happened? I came out with 2 books. And so I found A Little Princess, a charming classic by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And I'm looking forward to reading this. And then I also bought Princess Academy by Shannon Hale. And I don't know, I'm going to peek back here. I don't know if it's the same Shannon Hale that wrote Austenland, which is right here. I'll just grab it. But I thought, oh, wouldn't that be interesting if that's the same author? And I still haven't looked it up, so I need to do that. So I just picked it up. Just stuff that there like that. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized that I had broken my book buying ban and bought 2 books. So I thought to myself, I'm going to have to reboot. And then what happened? I don't know. I know what happened. I was looking for Charles Dickens' Nicholas Nickleby, because that's this, I think hopefully it's 2 months, read along with Katie from Books and Things is doing a 2-year Mega Dickens readathon, and she's reading the books in chronological order. And so this is Nicholas Nickleby is the 3rd book that we're reading. And I've been listening to them on audio, but I like to have the book as well so that I can, if I've like, oh, what were they saying? And I'm feeling a little bit lost, I can go back and read. And so I was having a hard time finding it used. I wanted to buy it used. And I came across, and so I was kind of looking, that was now my excuse to be in charity shops or thrift shops or used bookstores, and I finally found it. So I bought it. But I was perusing around some other places, and I came across Thomas Hardy's The Return of the Native. And I really had enjoyed reading The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy last year in 2022 during Victober. And I thought, you know what? I want to read more Thomas Hardy, so I'm going to pick it up. So, 2 more books. Well, this one technically I was allowing myself to buy. So then I decided I was going to do the Around the World in 80 Days reading challenge with Miriam from Miriam Elizabeth Reads. And I don't have the sheet here, so I don't know the other, off the top of my head, I don't know the other hosts. So I'll link those in my description box. But so they're reading Around the World in 80 Days, and then there's probably 6 or 8 prompts to read different books set in different countries where Phileas Fogg travels. So I picked some from my bookshelf where I had ones, but there's like maybe 5 or 6, maybe 4 or 5 that I don't have. And so I started just kind of looking around just to see what was out there. I really was planning on checking some things out at the library. And lo and behold, what did I do? I came across Rhys Bowen's The Tuscan Child set in Italy. So I bought it. And then used probably just $1.50, maybe even $1.50 for both of these. But price isn't really the problem. It's more and more books is the problem. Then I came across Peony in Love by Lisa C. And this is set in China. And so I ended up with these 2 more books that I really wasn't going to buy or supposed to buy. Then I did have a purchase that was sanctioned, and that's I'm reading the Rhys Bowen's Royal Spinous series, and I'm on book 6, I think, and it's called Airs and Grace. So I was looking for Airs and Grace, and I was in a small bookshop that has both new and used books, and I was looking in the used section, and they didn't have Airs and Grace, but they had Queen of Hearts, which is the next one after Airs and Grace. So I thought, well, I'll be reading this one soon, so I might as well get this. And while I was in there, I was also looking for Maeve Binchy's Circle of Friends, which is set in Ireland. And I think Lisa from Lisa in Bookland, I think she's the gal who talked about Circle of Friends. They didn't have Circle of Friends, but they did have A Week in Winter. And it's wintertime, so I thought, oh, this is seasonal and Irish and Maeve Binchy. So I got that. And then Janelle at Janelle Too Fond of Books had mentioned that Rhys Bowen had another really cute series called Evans Above, and they had that one. So I walked out with 3 books. If that wasn't bad enough, a couple days later, I was in another used bookstore. No, it looks like I was in Goodwill. And Circle of Friends was there. And I'd been looking for this one for a while. I'm like, this one's kind of hard to find, so I better buy it. So I did. Then Prince Harry's book Spare came out, and I thought, you know what? I really am interested in this, and I want to read it right now while it's hot. I don't usually read books right where they're, so I just decided, this was like really intentional. I just decided to buy the book Spare, which I am reading right now, so I count that as a plus. So there I go. But then I must have been, I don't know, maybe this was in conjunction with another trip, but I was in Goodwill, and I came across Claire Tomlin, A Life of My Own, and decided I couldn't live without it. Then what was I doing? I was doing something. I was kind of driving around. I don't know where I was going, but I was driving around, and I was on a street that I hadn't been on in a while. And I discovered this bookshop called The Littlest Bookshop. And I'm like, I didn't even know this bookshop existed. I need to go in. So I went in. It was adorable. It's mostly children and middle grade. There's just a small section for adults. They have puzzles. They have a couple of other things. But I'm like, I already went in thinking, I really want to support this bookshop. So I'm going to buy something. And I did. Enola Holmes and the Elegant Escapade, which this could count as a sanctioned book because it is the last book thus far in the Enola Holmes series. And I haven't read it, and I am looking forward to it. So I bought that. Now, I have one last thing to confess. Someone commented on my channel. I was asking for some recommendations for some of the Around the World in 80 Days settings that I hadn't chosen a book or didn't have a book on my TBR list. And so I got a lot of really good suggestions. And one of them was they were saying they were going to read a Graham Norton book. Graham Norton is a BBC chat show host, and I listen to him a lot on either Facebook or YouTube, and he's just absolutely hilarious. And I knew he had written books, but I wasn't really thinking about him when I was thinking about Ireland picks, and I already have 2. But I thought, oh yeah, I really wanted to read a Graham Norton book. I wonder if you can find them here I'm in the US. He probably, I don't know if he has a big following here in my town, but there happened to be Graham Norton, a keeper. So I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to find this again. Maybe nobody will buy it, but who knows? So I bought it. So I'm up to 14. I bought 14 books on a month. I was not going to buy any. Although, let's see, what did I say? 1, 2, maybe 3 books were sanctioned books, but I'm off to a horrible start. So I'm rebooting, and next month, no books. Not even if it's a sanctioned book. No books. So that's my plan. And I will give you updates whenever I'm on, whenever I make a video, I will do a confession update. So how are you doing? Are you doing better than I am? Are you buying books when we're really not, I was going to say not supposed to, but not intending to? How are you managing not to buy a book? I guess I need to stay out of the thrift shops and the used bookstore and not even browse. If I need to browse, I can browse at the library. So anyway, that's my January bookaHAUlic haul. Leave some comments down below. Let me know how you're doing and how's your January been. Do you have any book goals, non-book buying goals? And yeah, again, how is that going? That's all for today. As always, I hope all of your books are good books and they're books that you feel good about, not guilty about. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.